What is up, YouTubers and viewers? This is the Tyco Trail, and we're back with another video of rare Tyco Train cars that you need to find. And some of these cars in this video are rare, but it's not the entire collection. This is the 60s era. Most of these cars are from like the 60s, but there's a few 70s. But with that, here's some of the rare Tyco train cars that you need to find. I got a caboose here that's defying gravity. Because here's what the real position looks like. You have this one here and you have this one here, like stands like that. But furthermore, this one's defying gravity, and this is my profile picture. But put it down. But we're not gonna be starting with the power cabooses. We're gonna be starting off with the A-wheel cabooses. Starting off with a couple rare cabooses is a caboose, but not just any type of caboose. Back in 1961, Tyco released the Canadian Pacific caboose, the 8-wheel, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You get the idea of the 8-wheel caboose, but this one only came out 1 year. It was only 1961 on the pace setter set. But not only do they also have their 8-wheel car, they also have their little 4-wheel bobber caboose. Here's this one from another set. Even though this one has been produced a couple different sets, this one is somewhat rare, but this one's probably considered a little bit more valuable, since this is a 1 year only. But this one only appeared in only a couple smaller sets, but this one appeared in a Canadian Pacific set, and this is the 4-wheel bobber caboose. So we got these two cabooses here, the Canadian Pacifics. Following with that, we have another rare caboose, but this is the one I showed in the latest editions video. It was from a rare Reading set. It is the Reading 8-wheel caboose. This car only appeared in a few different sets, but the only set that I see it appear was back in 1962 and 1964. There was a few sets that contained this car, but this car is a little bit newer, so that means this car possibly was made in another set, but I didn't know what set was made in during another earlier year from 1965 to the 1967s. But this car is also another rare valuable for collectors, and I've shown this in another video too for latest editions. Another rare car that also has a little bobber caboose as a little cousin is the 1 year only New Haven 8-wheel caboose. And in one fact, it also has the bogies where, just like the lighted 8-wheel cabooses, they have two different wheels, one black wheel, one brass color wheels, because it's where the connections get to power the light inside the caboose. But this is actually not a light caboose. I do have two of them here. I'm going to show you a little later. But with this car only appeared in one set. It was a New Haven combination set where you have a passenger set and a freight set. In the freight section, it contained this car here. But other than that, here's the little cousin. This car also appeared in a couple sets too, but there was one set that appeared in back in 1961. I don't know the exact name of it, but it's a New Haven set. But for this one, this is the little bobber caboose version, and both of these cars are considered like valuable to collectors, especially with this car. It says 1 year deal, but this one's also a couple years made too, especially 1961. Along with that, we have another rare car, but I don't have any engines with this car. It's a 1961 and 1962 Delaware and Hudson caboose. I don't have the engine. It's a shifter engine, and it's extremely rare, but I managed to find the caboose at a hobby shop. And it was just only a 1 year deal made, but I seen the engines, a couple of them, but they instantly just went away because it's so valuable. But the caboose is also one of the other things that we're like looking for. But here's like the caboose. It says Delaware Hudson on it. It also has the symbol and has the other bogies too. And I have a bobber caboose for this one, but only a few of them were made. And here I have another older one along with a newer one with the Baltimore and Ohio cabooses, but I'll show you what the original first ones was. Between in 1959, Tyco started using these cabooses as their main caboose. Since when the bobber caboose was the first one, they started making these 8-wheel cabooses. It was a little somewhere in the late 1950s, but with this one right here, this was a 1959 8-wheel caboose, but this is the first one is because on the 1950 Baltimore and Ohio set, which I saw on YouTube, this car right here was on that catalog in that video too, but somewhere along down the line, they completely changed it. Like, unlike with the added symbols or other extra details, they only added Baltimore and Ohio. They also had B and O for Baltimore and Ohio in short, and they also put Baltimore and Ohio here with the number 2310. And this is also an newer version because it has the rivets. It's also a little lighter too, but with this one, this is way older, and it has the original style coupling, but it's not the loop, it's the horn hook. But if you look closely, the reason why there's this hole right here is because when Tyco started are using these couplers anymore, they left a hole here, and this hole was actually supposed to be that bottom connector where you pick up the car or trying to couple it, you push that pin up, and it releases that little coupler and just connects to the car. But I don't have any of the cars here in the collection currently for the collection on the table, but here's what the original one looks like, and here's a little bit of the newer one, along with a couple other the power cabooses. Not only with this one here, you have a little power caboose. But with this one, this is also an older one, but it's also from that same late 50s era, with a different kind of wheel, and it's a little bit on the same age too, just like this one. But unlike with the newer bobber caboose, I have it in a set. I'm not gonna remove it, but this is also older one, and also rare too. With a couple of other following cabooses which I haven't mentioned, you have a little Burlington caboose, but with this caboose here, in only a couple sets, in a Burlington F7 and a Burlington Coal set, this caboose was also featured. One set was from 1961. They not only made the Illinois Central set, they also had a Burlington set, so two different ones back in 1961. But the bottom couplers here, they're not original. They're supposed to be like gray, unlike the gray bottom ones like here, and then right here. For this one, this is considered like a really hard car to find on its own, but let's see, you get. Also, out of the only sets, I don't have any engine for this particular caboose. It's the Great Northern caboose, but this car only appeared in one set. It was somewhere between 1960 and 1961. And this car was also released along with the GN unit, Great Northern for short. But with the little booster, I have the New York Central one, but I don't have the Great Northern. That's one engine I want to find in the near future. But with this one, not only with the silver on the bottom, it's a rare little bobber caboose, the bobbers. Along with the other bigger cabooses, here's the silver only silver 8-wheel caboose I'm gonna be showing you. I have two of them, but here's one of them I'm gonna show you. Is the Southern Pacific 8-wheel caboose. It was only one of two gray ones I have in my collection. There's a Burlington and here's a Southern Pacific. But with the Southern Pacific caboose, it only appeared in a couple sets. There was a 60s set, the shifter, and there was another set too that also had this car too. But one of the main sets this car appeared in was the puffer belly set. But with this one right here, this is from the 60s, because with the hole right here, that's where the little pin goes through so you can lift the coupler up. And that is a rare car. With a couple other bobber cabooses, if you bring this car along, the Atlantic East Coast Line, which only appeared in one set back in 1960, this car is extremely rare, is because this is like I said earlier, in 1960, Tyco released the merchandise set that contained this car, along with the rare Atlantic East Coast with the darker paint scheme. It was only a first year edition, and this car was also released too. So this is also extremely rare. And I also bought this too, like a couple months back when I started my YouTube channel. But along with another rare caboose is the K National Bobber caboose, and this K National Bobber caboose is extremely valuable. Is because this one only appeared in one set, but sadly, I don't know why they stopped making this car. Is because this car only appeared in one, kind of say, is the CNN domination or donation set, but with this car here, if you look underneath, this is the silver bottom coupler thing. My parents are literally talking upstairs, but never mind. I'm just gonna talk a little bit louder. Just joking. I'm playing. But with this car though, there's one added bonus to this car. There's one car where on only a couple cars that says "watch your step where I fall down the stairs," but no. With this car here, it's still a highly collectible car, and it's also hard to find too. And I was able to manage to find it because this car I wanted to have for one particular set, which became noted for one of the most viewed videos on my channel. Just like the little symbol right here, we have my profile picture, but with this one right here, it also has "watch your step" too. I fell down the stairs once when I was trying to film a basement, and just joking. But with the Southern Pacific Lines, this car also appeared in one set. But they stopped producing this car somewhere in 1962. But between 1961, that's when they started making the Southern Pacific and New York Central blue and red dot special. But with this one, this was from another special set. It was possibly from the blue dot special. But with this car here, it only appeared on the Southern Pacific booster set. And this is also another really cool car. And this will be my profile picture until next week when we'll be doing another Bobber caboose. And for the final one that appeared in a couple sets was the Union Pacific Bobber caboose. But with this one here, just like the Union Pacific, but it's another different caboose is the Rio Grande A-wheel caboose. But with this caboose here, it's produced between a lot of different years from 1961 and somewhere in the mid-60s, where they use the Rio Grande sense, and they use the Rio Grande sets, and they also put the cabooses with them, and they also done passenger car sets. And just like the New Haven, they also made another similar set with this, where they had this caboose. But this is also a rare car, and especially if it's like mint condition too. So there's that. Also, apologies if I'm a little bit rushing through this, is because my parents were just like talking upstairs, but never mind. But here is the Union Pacific. Here's the Union Pacific lighted caboose, and this is one of a couple of them I have in my collection. But with this one, it still has the pickups like the New Haven, but if you look closely, it has the plastic around it, so that means it has a light bulb on the inside. And the reason why this is plastic around it is because with the light bulb, you see the light bulb on the inside. When you put this plastic around it, it illuminates the car, making it look like there's someone actually inside. But this is not only a really cool car, but it's also collectible too. I have a Union Pacific, but the other two versions are Pennsylvania and Santa Fe, which I have both upstairs. But one of the earlier cabooses was this caboose here, and this was in 1959 when they brought these out. But with this one, it has the light bulb under here. But with the newer one, the light bulb is actually on the inside. But with this one here, the light bulb is actually currently right here, and it's also the older version, and also has the similar symbol in the Union Pacific, but it's a little smaller and the numbers down here. But with this one, the name is on top of here, and here's the number. But along with that, we're moving on to the freight cars. But other than that, we're going to be moving on to this. I'm currently in the flooded building right now, but I'm currently not. It is because we currently need a flashlight, or I need the floodlight car. But with this car here, this car is actually the rarer version, but but for this one, for the floodlight car, you put a C battery in here. Here, not a D battery. D batteries are a little bit too big, but the C battery, you put this in here, and it's just to activate the light and also get connection power here. But the last couple of times, I didn't get able to run. But still, though, this car is actually very rare. This car actually, anything with the Union Pacific made its way up the light car is actually a first year made. It was somewhere in 1958 they started producing them. It's a little bit different, but this is 1959 version. But what the other common version was the writing, which appeared on many Mammoth of the Rail sets, and this is one of the cars that was featured there. But this car, though, this car actually also appeared in a couple of writing sets too. But the only thing is the Reading 060 steam locomotive is one of the rarest six-wheelers out there. But other than that, this car is a really rare Tyco, especially this one with the Union Pacific, since it's a first year made too. Along with that, we're still living the train for maintenance, but here we are introduced into the bunk car. I meant not the sleeper car. I'm gonna be sleeping upstairs soon, but with this car right here, back in 1959, this car only appeared in one set. It was a Pennsylvania maintenance set, and this is also something like a boost where this car is at the end of any maintenance set. But with this car right here, it's a Pennsylvania with red around the doors, and this car only appeared in 1959. And this is also a really cool car, and also has the chimneys on top, which look a little similar to the chimneys you see on the caboose. But probably one of the rarer bunk cars that I have only 3 of them, is the Reading maintenance of the way, a bunk car. But with this one right here, this one also appeared in 2 different sets from 1960 to 1961. I was having a hard time trying to find a second one of these cars, just because I only want to have 2 of them, but I want to see if they also appear. But this car is actually extremely rare. But with this one, I actually did find one of these at the train show, but it was a kit build. But kit builds have gray bottoms, but this one has a black bottom, because usually with black bottoms, they're usually associated with the sets. But with this one here, this one was not purchased in the train shows, purchased online. And this car is a truly a collector right here, along with another bunk car. I want to go to bed soon, but with another special kind of car. Be careful, but apparently want to clear some tunnels, right? But we have this car right here, which is the clearance car. There's only 2 different versions this made that Tyco made. One of them was a Reading version, but there was also a Pennsylvania version with the red side right here. This looks like a passenger car, but when you pull it out, it's a completely different car. It's a maintenance car. And this is the first car that was being pulled by the shifter here, along with a couple other cars here too. But with this one here, the piece that's always rare is this piece right here. This piece always comes off. And let me show you a little bit. So with this piece right here, this piece actually comes off. But this piece is usually separate, so it doesn't come broken. But this piece is actually the flexible part on this piece, but you don't want to break this. But the car here without it, you can see the steps right there, the toolboxes, and the main car itself. And this is also a really good piece too. And this is also from 1960 and 61. Get this out of the way. And with another old timer, you have the utility, or I say / old timer water car. But with this car here, if you pay attention to this piece right here, the water canisters, it's actually the exact same use what they use for their utility water cars as their maintenance sets. As one that was only produced in the U.S. Navy, they have the exact same pieces, and what they done is they take one of these pieces off and they put it on the flat car to make it look like a utility water car. But I need to drink of water because I'm dehydrating. But just joking. But with this other one, this is also another utility water car. But there's only 3 different versions made. One Union Pacific, New York Central, and a U.S. Navy. But this one actually appeared in the Ganny Dancer set. But with this car and this car here and this one here, but this was an old timer. It's a little similar, but this one I'm gonna put right here. Just joking. But this one right here, these are actually glued on. Like this one was actually bolted on the bogies, if you can see right here on both sides. But with this one, they actually glued it on. But originally, this car is actually custom, is because this was a flat car first, and instead of gluing it on, I decided to tape it on so you can easily take this off. But with this one here is actually the real one, is because instead of screwing it on, like there's no screws on the bottom or top, they glued it on. They glue it on perfectly, so you can't remove it. So that's why they make it the utility water car. But with the final of the maintenance cars, we have a bridge girder. But with the bridge girder, this Pennsylvania flight car is actually rare, but it's actually not the set. It's a kit build. If you see gray bombs, you know it's a kit build. But with this piece right here, the bridge girder is actually the rarest piece, because usually these brown pieces right here come off, but it's actually 3 pieces. So 1, 2, 3. And this is actually a really cool piece to have on trains where you're going to be building a bridge over a river. But probably one of the more fragile cars, unlike with the other flatbeds where this one's glued, or this one you can remove in 3 pieces. But this one, if you break it, you buy it. Just joking. Unlike with the derrick car, though, this piece right here always breaks off. And one time multiple of these actually shattered on me, but it was on a different car where one car was painted, but this is one I bought online, and somehow this piece right here survived. But not only breaking this off is going to be a risk, breaking these 2 pieces off are a risk. And one time, Tyco actually made these in a different colors. The more rare color is black. But these pieces are usually hard to find and are usually broken. But the more common pieces are brown. But with this car here, this is also a 1961 red derrick car. But finding a derrick car like this in condition, like some of the pieces are here are just like glued on, is because I don't want this car to break even further. I just want to keep this thing like in a possession where no one's going to break it. But this is the piece you want to look out for the most, because this piece can break. And shockingly enough, this is also workable too. If you look on the side here, this is where the little crane piece is, and you can turn it. But I don't want to touch it though. But nonetheless, this is also a really rare car, and it's also really fragile too. And with the final 2, before I'm going to be cutting the video off here, is back in 1961. That's when Tyco started introducing their operating hopper cars, and one of their operating cars they introduced was the 1961 Pennsylvania hopper car. And this actually is a really like a good collector's item, is because since like YouTubers like to do cold drags with Pennsylvania hopper cars, and this is currently one of them. And this car only appeared in also in another set, the Pacer set of the Pennsylvania set, and I've done a video on this one too. And this is one of the rattlers. Get shaking dancing. Yeah, that's what they call it, rattlers. They operate, but the final one I'm showing is in the box. This car only appeared in 2 sets in 1961. It's the U.S. Navy. I'm gonna correct myself. U.S. Navy hopper car, which is a little similar to this one, but this is the hopper car version. And this car only appeared in only 1 to 2 sets. The first set was the Burlington set, and the other set was a Mammoth of the Rail set. And furthermore, it's inside the box too. This one makes it much more rare. It will say all the dates on here. The original price was $279. It was an operating U.S. Navy car, and this is and with the box, it's extremely rare. And it has everything all around too, including a couple other information too. But here is the U.S. Navy hopper, and I don't want to show the box a little too much because I don't want to get flagged or something. But either way, part 2 is going to be coming out soon. Have a good rest of your day, and also see you later.